Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Let me do some things on my computer real fast. How are you guys doing? Happy equinox. Holy Moses. The energies are so freaking intense right now. Okay, I'm just cleaning up some stuff on my laptop real fast. All right. Welcome if you are here live, and welcome if you're watching the replay. We are going to have fun today doing a Q&A. Hi, Jill and Lori and Michelle and Lars and Kristen and Miley and Bridget. Who else is here? Tina, Yanni, Beatrice, and Nina. Wowzers, I'm telling you guys. There's something to this. Look at my hair. Hi, Terry. Hi, Maria. There is something to these energies right now. I am exhausted. I'm exhausted. I woke up this morning and I feel like, so I woke up and got out of bed around, I don't know, 7-ish. I feel like the last 5 hours have gone by so slow. Hello, Larry and Melissa Kelly. It's good to be here. Hi, Marta and Charlie. How is everybody feeling? How are you navigating these very interesting times and equinox energy? Charlie's exhausted. I feel called to pull a card at some point today during our live Q&A. Hello, Louise. Hi, Gudrun from Austria. If you have the ability to say hello on the chat box, say hello and let us know where you're from. I feel happy. I worked a lot, let go of a lot. Is the GFOL here today? Well, they're always here, Lars. They're always here. I'm sure we can bring them in for a few questions. Okay, so before we get started, first of all, a couple of announcements. Hi, Judy, focusing on not stressing. What I would recommend is just not even focusing on anything, just allowing what is, allowing what is, allowing what is. I feel like I am in a daze. I am like here, but I'm not here. I'm in and out. It's a very interesting feeling. Having a bad connection, we'll try logging in again. Sorry, Fritz. Yay, congratulations, Kelly. You got a job interview. Okay, a couple of announcements. One is Align 4.0 is going to be up and open for registration on Monday, the 25th. And we start Align 4.0 October 4th. We go for 21 days. So we end on the 24th of October. So excited to start Align 4.0. I have been about a month and a half. So if you have not joined any of our lines, I highly encourage you to join us for Align 4.0, 21 days of sitting together every day for 30 minutes, usually about an hour. And we just go inward and we practice being, and we have all these different tools of practicing awareness and stillness and observing and all kinds of stuff. So really powerful. And it can change your life. So it will be up on Monday. So look out for that. Thanks for joining, Tina, the 3.0. And yeah, it's going to be really good. And then our next live event is Friday the 29th, 4 p.m. California time. It's our energy update. Hi, Rose. So good to meet you in person. Oh my gosh, I got to meet Rose in Dublin last weekend. It was so much fun. Hi, Fritz. I'm not sure why it's breaking up. That's very unfortunate. Can you try a different browser? Sometimes if you go into Chrome or Safari, Go into one that you haven't gone into, and sometimes it will help. I do know that Chrome is much better for Crowdcast, so I don't know what browser you're using, but Chrome works really well. Okay, so those are my announcements. Hi, Sandra. Good to see you here. Hi, Haida. Hi, Brendan. Good to have you here, my friend. Those are the two announcements. Align 4.0 starts October 4th, and registration is the 25th. And our next event is Friday the 29th, 4 p.m. Energy update. So this is the Q&A. And over on the right-hand side, there is a little question box. If you click that question box, you can enter in your question. There is a replay, Julie, for the Dublin event. If you reach out to Positive Life Magazine, they can send it to you. If you don't hear back from them, email me, and I do have it downloaded so I can send it to you. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the live streaming. Okay, go over to the right. I think it's to the right for most of you guys. There's a little question box. Click it and we'll do some Q&A for about an hour. What's going on with you? What's arising? What's coming up? Yeah, let's just dive into some questions. Hi, Marianne. Good to have you. Yeah, Rose, email me and I'll send you the replay. I got it from Paul on Dropbox, but he actually has the link for everybody, so I don't have access to it. But I do have, he did give me the replay. Hi, Pua. So good to have you here, my friend. How are you? How are you settling back in? All right. Let's do some questions. Let's see what wants to come through for questions. What are you guys feeling? What's up for you all? Hi, Geeta. Is the connection not good for a lot of you? I swear to you, Crowdcast can really be annoying. Hi, Sonia. All right, let's start with some question. And let me know if others are having issues. Oh, okay, it's good there. Good. Good. My ears are itching. Okay, so let's go. Let's do some questions. Hi, Kemma. Good to see you. Okay. I've never heard of Brave. Okay. Okay, Maria. As a new grandmother, also really quickly, I'm going to just intercept my about to answer the question with if you're feeling a lot of anxiety or stress, worry, discombobulation, I encourage you to just sit with the energies of all of us right now. There's a pretty powerful message coming in right now as I'm sitting here of just be with us right now. Be with you, be with your breath, be in stillness if you can. Forget about what questions are coming through and even the answers that come through, but let this be an hour where an hour and 20 minutes, 15 minutes, however long we're here. Let this be an hour where you relax your nervous system a little bit. Drop into presence. Drop into beingness right now. Just still yourself. Feels very, very charged right now. Not charged in a bad way, not charged in a good way, just energetically charged. That feeling where the TV is on in the background, but it's on like where there's no screen. It's just that black and white, like poltergeist type of s- um, thing where it's like static. It's the energy I'm feeling right now. There's this really strange underlying kind of staticky noise in the background. Um, yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Right now. So just learning how to calm our nervous systems by getting present, still, breathing, and not necessarily trying to change what you're in, but simply being in it, just allowing it. Everything's passing. Anyway, that was a message that needed to be shared. Okay. Maria, as a new grandmother, I would love to hear your opinion on the children born today are different energetically than my children or myself. Babies born now seem to come in with more knowledge. Um, yes. So I wrote about this in my book, The Divine Design, but basically, um, as so there is a light quotient that our spirit or consciousness embodies or incarnates into the body with. So the light quotient is a percentage of your actual spirit's light. So if you are a spark of source, okay, so you're an individuated, unique expression of source. You're your own spirit, okay? You're your own consciousness, even though you are an aspect of source or God or whatever. This is a vibrational pulse. It's a light, right? And this is your spirit, your consciousness that has chosen to incarnate into a human body. And it can only bring in a certain percentage of its light because the physical body is so dense that it will literally burn up the body, will burn up the organs. Too much light. And so there's a percentage of that light quotient that enters into the physical body. Now, based on the frequency of the physical body, okay, that's going to indicate the percentage of light quotient. Hopefully you're with me here, okay? So the physical body is a different frequency than your spirit, than you, okay? Two separate frequencies. The higher in frequency the physical form is, the more light it can hold. So the more of your light quotient you can bring in. We are evolving. There is more light on the planet. There is more light in the physical body. The physical body is shifting into higher frequencies, so it can hold more light. It can hold more light quotient. It can hold more of the spirit. If more of the spirit comes in, so most of us were born into a body that could hold around 7 to 11%. Nowadays, when an incarnation happens with the spirit, it's between, probably 9 and 16%, maybe even 17 or 18%. It's a pretty high frequency now. And so when that percentage of spirit incarnates into the body, it has more access to remembering. It's in a higher vibration. Harder to be in the body, can see more, can feel more, has the potential and the ability to stay awake, doesn't necessarily go back to sleep. So these babies that are born right now are bringing in much more of their light quotient. So they know a lot more, they see a lot more, they feel a lot more. They have access to a lot more because they have more of their consciousness frequency. And what's interesting is that as our body increases in frequency, right? Then what happens to let's say you brought in 8% of your spirit, the spirit, the light quotient. And here's one person that has 7% of their light quotient. Here's somebody that has 16% of their light quotient. The physical body's ability to increase in frequency, right, is going to facilitate, regardless of what percentage of light you incarnated into, the body's frequency is what is facilitating us into these higher dimensional realms. And so regardless of that light quotient, each body is assisting the spirit and assisting the human experience, the humaner, into new ways of being, having psychic abilities or the ability to telepathically, hear messages telepathically, whatever it is, be in a flow state. It's the body that's assisting the spirit, right? The spirit already has access to that. So whether you bring in 7% of your light or 16% of your light, as soon as the human connects to its light, to its frequency, to its spirit, it's completely aligned. It's connected to God, right? So it is God. No matter whether you have 7% in or 16% in, right? When your awareness shifts to that spirit, to that consciousness, you're connected into God. You're aligned. Yeah, you don't have more God than another. Does that make sense? It's just the amount of light that the body's capable of holding. That light doesn't increase. So somebody that brings in 7 or someone that brings in 16, the 7% doesn't increase. It just stays. But the benefit of bringing in more is that the human that is born into the illusion that it's the human. So the Lori or the Maria or whoever, that's the human, right? That we think we are. It has a higher probability of staying in its God essence if there's more higher percentage of light quotient. Again, just to, because I can feel questions being asked about this. No matter how much percentage of your light quotient that you bring in, that light quotient is still God. That light quotient is still spirit. That light quotient is still 100% clear in its connection to source. So it doesn't matter when you connect into your awareness to consciousness, what percentage of your essence came in. I don't know if this makes sense, but yes, babies, long story short, wrap around, babies that are born right now are have the potential to hold much more of their light quotient. That was a really complicated way of just answering your question. But hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. The light quotient explanation is probably the most fascinating bit in the book that has stuck with me. Yeah, it's really fascinating. I think it's extremely important to understand that with the light quotient, when we are moving through an evolution or even an ascension, it is not your light quotient that's increasing in vibration and frequency. Your light quotient is just encased in the physical body. It's the physical body that is increasing in frequency, allowing the human that you think you are, the Rose, the Gita, the Vicky, the Julie, the Maria, to experience this physical reality in new ways. And again, it doesn't matter how much light quotient you brought in based on what the body's frequency was at when you incarnated. 6% or 16%, it's still the same essence of God, right? It just, again, the what the benefits of bringing in more is that you have the potential as the human to stay connected to who you actually are, which is God. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. Okay, Judy. The UK is saying that there is a new strain of virus or a bunch that is coming and will kill millions. Is this in any way what has been said about the millions that will leave the planet over the coming years? I would not pay attention to these storylines. I would pay attention to how we are focusing and paying attention to these fear-based storylines. It's very, very important in the next couple of years that we get very clear on what we are focusing on. There is a belief or a program that runs around in the collective that if you are not aware of what's happening, you're in denial or you're not educated, you don't have the knowledge. we're going to come to a point at some point in the next couple of years where we're going to recognize that that's no longer necessary. We don't need to know that there is supposedly some new virus that's going to kill millions of humans. What we're going to start to recognize and embody more and more through awareness and evolution is that how we are choosing to be in every moment is what is most important, period. Because the small percentage of humans and energies that are controlling the planet right now, they're going to continue to do whatever they're going to do until we stop focusing on what they're doing. And this is very, very difficult to wrap our heads around because we're in it. Maybe there is a new virus strand, maybe there isn't. You know, maybe this is what's going to kill millions of humans, maybe it's not. Millions upon millions of humans are going to continue to pass on this planet. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. And the biggest reason is not a virus. The biggest reason is the poisoning. Not only the poisoning of our water and food and 5G, but the poisoning of our minds. What we are consuming. And so if there's anything that I can recommend, and I'll probably keep speaking about this, but it is paying such acute attention to what you are paying attention to. And what you are consuming, what is going into your mind, what is going into your body through the consumption of information. That is how we are controlled. That is how we are manipulated. That is how we are kept in a disempowered, unaligned, out of our God essence state. And so information can come in and you can listen to it, but it's just like a thought. You let it come and go. The more we feed these storylines, and it's crazy because I'm watching it it's like wildfires. Everybody is invested in these stories. They're invested in what's coming next. They're invested in what they need to do. They're invested in what's coming down the chute. They're invested in how we're being lied and manipulated to. And eventually, through this evolution in human consciousness, those that are continuing to invest in this are going to realize that the investing in these stories aren't actually doing anything. And because we're on the front lines of all of this, Judy, we have to start paying much more attention to how we are being in our everyday life. Because whether there is another virus that they're going to leak out or not, that's going to kill millions, we have to pay attention to the fear that we are consuming. We have to pay attention to what we are still afraid of within our own beings. Are we free within our own inner world? This is not about what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't about figuring out the external world or somehow mastering the external world. This is about mastering our internal worlds so that regardless of what they do out there to try to control us and keep us in fear, we start to break free. So it's a real fine line, right? It's a fine line between, maybe just continuing to let information come through, but look at every piece of information as just a thought and let the thought come and go. Don't grab it. Because it's not going to get quieter on the planet. It's going to get louder and louder. And it's all based on fear. All of it. Even if people are spinning it as this is knowledge that's going to empower you. bullshit. I will call bullshit on that going forward for quite some time. This idea that the more information we have, the more empowered we are is a deep program. We are literally being fed like hamsters information that unconsciously continues to perpetuate fear. We're consuming it. And we are consuming it at such a rate that we don't realize that we're consuming it. And your nervous system is being overloaded. Anxiety is on the rise. Stress is on the rise. Trying to fix and control is on the rise. And it's this very subtle way in which we are losing or being pulled out of our most empowered and highest aligned state, which is inward, calm, still, present, aware, observing, but not digesting it. And the most sought after information now is all the fear-based stories. We want to pay attention to that. It's like what Marilyn Monroe said in her channeling this month, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to the Marilyn Monroe channeling, go listen to it. But the Marilyn Monroe channeling, she said, I don't know what, 80-90% of all information that is put out is knowledge that the powers that be are allowing to be put out. We think that we're like empowering ourselves, like, yes, we know stuff that they don't want us to know. No, they're just continuing to control us. That's all. So you want to just it's going to become more and more minute, these fear-based narratives. You just want to pay attention to it. I mean, is it good to be prepared physically? I mean, I don't know. I think that I have been in this awareness, in this state of knowing what's happening on the planet since I was 13 and 1989, and people have been preparing since 1989, probably before that. They have been preparing for what's coming for the last 30 years, 25 years, 30 years, however long. And so to me, it's more of what is the energy of preparing, or what is the energy of just living? Humanity is always going to be preparing for something, whether it ever drops or not, whether it's ever necessary or not. And so to me, it's more of how do you want to live? If you're living free, if you're living expanded, if you're living unrestricted, if you're living in a place where there's not a lot of fear, then sure, prepare. But if you are constantly trying to prepare and get ready for, this battle, this war, and there's an energy of that, I would just simply pay attention to that. That's all. This is a frequency game. This isn't a physical game. It's a frequency game. It's an energy game. It's an energy battle. It's a frequency battle. It's not a physical battle. And so that's not to say don't prepare, but people have been preparing for the last 40 years for what's coming. Ask anybody that's been in the spiritual community, they've been preparing. And so it's just a matter of what do you want to hold yourself in, And I don't think there's anything wrong with preparing. I just would bring awareness to what it feels like. Kathy. Hi, Lori. I'm finding it real hard to decide when to speak up and when to just allow. I've had a number of really challenging experiences, and it's so difficult to know when to stand up for myself and when to let go and what to let go of. I think this is an individual decision. I can't really tell you when to speak up and when to allow. But what I can say from my own experience is that the more that I am experiencing life, the ups and downs, people doing certain things, saying certain things, whatever's happening, right? The more that I pay attention to how my body is experiencing it, what's happening to my nervous system. Is my heart rate going up? Am I having stress? Am I anxious? Am I attached? Am I detached? Am I angry? What's happening in my body? And then, regardless of whether you speak up or not, can you allow it to be? You can still speak up. You can still use your voice. I think that's a really important part of being human, until we realize that sometimes the more potent or um, aligned state of action is to simply just allow people to be how they are. If somebody chooses to walk away from you in a friendship or in a relationship, you somehow find it within you in this deeper aligned state to just allow it. If somebody is getting extremely upset with you somewhere, right? The stages may be speaking up, holding firm boundaries, and I think that that is extremely important and powerful. But I truly believe there will come a time where we will start recognizing that these people, this is just how this person is. I will walk away. I don't need to allow it in my life, right? I won't necessarily invite this person in, but this is who they are. This is how they're choosing to be. That's allowing. Now, if you're in a physically abusive relationship or an emotionally abusive situation, a mentally abusive situation, you want to look at what you believe about yourself and what you think you deserve. So it's never ever about the other person, ever. It's always about us and where we are in our own aligned state of being, God essence, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. So there is no right answer to this. When you speak up, you speak up. When you simply just allow, you simply allow. But I truly believe in the evolution in human consciousness. There will come a time where we will be so in our divine essence, that speaking up or not speaking up, we are always just allowing people to be whatever it is that they're being and what they're choosing. It's like what Jesus said. The last thing Jesus said on the cross before he died was, "Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they've done." Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they've done. So that is our highest nature. Speaking up is really powerful. It's very profound. It gives us the potential to shift and change, the way people see things, and also just giving yourself that empowered state. But the deeper place is allowing, and understanding what allowing means, which is basically recognizing that whatever we are in right now is in movement. It's in flow. It's a river. And whoever shows up is just being them in that river. It's really difficult. Not easy. Finding boundaries is really important to a lot of us that have always been people pleasers and let people walk all over us. Hi, Darren. Nice to see you here. Um, okay. Let's do this one. Kelly 3001. I'm wondering what it means to become more crystalline. Does that mean physical changes? Yes. So a lot of people will talk about if you're following sort of the ascension path, um what you'll hear the word crystalline being talked a lot. I may have spoken about it in the book too, The Divine Design. But what that means is that the physical body is basically just becoming more light. And your the structure of your DNA, which are light codes. So DNA is just light codes, information stored in what is called DNA, which is just the physical carbon of light codes. So light codes have to be, when they move into a more dense physical body, like this body in the third dimension, the way that they are stored is through carbon, because carbon is in the physical third dimensional realm. So the light codes kind of squeeze themselves into a carbon based DNA, and it creates this physical structure. Now, when light continues to flood into the physical body and moves into the DNA, which is what's happening, okay, the DNA carbon-based structure, which holds the light codes, activate the light codes, which is the DNA, and that DNA begins to change structure. It's like ice melting into water, okay? It starts to shift its structure and becomes more crystalline or light. And eventually crystalline becomes actual just pure light, right? Crystalline is still a structure, light structure. So that's what's happening. More lights entering into the body, activating, entering into the DNA, which is just a carbon-based physical structure that's holding the light codes. That light that's coming into the body activates the light codes, which is activating the DNA. By the way, you're not in charge of doing this. I've said this many times. Any time that you hear anybody telling you that you have control of activating your DNA, they don't understand what's actually happening. This is a natural process. You're not in charge of it. You're not in charge of raising your vibration. This idea that we're in charge of it is a very deep egoic structure program that we somehow are controlling all of this. We're not. In fact, the opposite is what is being required of us. God consciousness, awareness, spirit, source doesn't control any of it because it remembers what it's going through. It remembers that it's in a physical structure that is evolving or ascending into more light. You as God consciousness is not doing anything. You're just along for the ride. You're not in charge of changing and activating the DNA. Light is. Let it go. Give it up. You're going to continue to find yourself in deep states of suffering if you continue to believe that you're in charge of activating yourself and ascending. You're not. Let it go. You're just not. And the more that we can stop trying to control it and to stop thinking that we're in charge of it, and start realizing that we're just God in form going through this magical, miraculous, holy shit ride, the less we are trying to be restrictive and tight and figure it all out. Oh my God, if I don't do these things that people are telling me, I'm going to miss out, or I'm not going to do this, or this isn't going to happen. No, that's all bullshit. Light's just coming in naturally. Light's activating your DNA naturally. Your DNA is naturally going from a carbon-based structure to a crystalline structure, which is the 12 strands of DNA. It's not spiritual. It's not woo-woo. It's not anything. It's just the natural process of evolution from physicality into lighter stages and states of physicality. That's it. 3D to 5D, 5D to 7D, whatever you want to call it. It's just physics. It's just energy. That's it. The more we stop trying to, You know, would scientists eventually see this when they view our DNA? Yeah, they should be able to. I think quantum physics is starting to understand this more and more. Um, but the problem with science is that we can only see what we are vibrating at. So it's hard to conceptualize what's happening when our mind or our own the body's frequency is at a level of awareness that won't allow for that to be seen yet. But eventually 100%. I mean, there's going to be 12 strands of a more crystalline type of DNA. So it'll still be physical. It'll just be much, much lighter. It'll be vibrating and pulsing a much higher frequency, but you'll still be able to see it. You can still see crystalline structures. It's just not dense and physical like the two strands. Um, does that make sense? It's a great question. These are my favorite things to talk about is the physics of everything, how it all works. It's the best. Um, exactly, like the leaves changing colors. They don't do it. It just happens naturally. Exactly. The trees lose their leaves and then their buds and then the buds and the leaves come back. They're not trying to do it. It's just what happens naturally. Um, Yeah, I'm glad it's, I think a lot of there can be a lot of confusion around what's happening. And what I would recommend you guys when you're listening to all kinds of different information out there going forward is just pay attention to control and what we want to control and what we don't want to control. Because anything that we're trying to control is usually not our natural state of being. And all of that just to say that when you're trying to do something, fix something, get yourself somewhere, that I just want you to start to see that perhaps through the lens of, oh, that's my human doing that. That's not God, essence or source or spirit doing it. Source or God or Christ consciousness or whatever you want to call it doesn't try to get anywhere. It knows that it's already everything. Yeah, your hair turning gray. It just happens. Julie, I feel like I'm at a crossroads in life with so many options. How do I know which path is the right one? Good question. Lots of people are going through this. I think that what I would, you know, point out, recommend, bring awareness to is that first, what if there wasn't a right path? Many times the reason that we get stuck, most times, the reason we get stuck is because we have been programmed to believe based on duality, which is right, wrong, good, bad. This feels good, this feels bad. Okay, so if we make a decision and then that decision takes us down a road which we don't think is good, which feels bad. So let's say that you make a decision and you move to a new place, okay? And then you get to that new place and it doesn't feel quite right and you're like, "Why did I move?" blah blah blah. We go into this place of I made the wrong decision. There's no such thing as making a wrong decision. The only reason we think it's wrong is because we are judging it based on how it feels. There is no wrong decision. There is just the next decision being made. I mean, really, this is a deep, deep awareness that if we can start to embody, it will free us from a huge amount of suffering. There are no wrong decisions. Every decision is the decision that you're making. That's it. the reason that we stay so stuck in trying to find the decision to be made is because we have all these stories around what we think it should look like, what we want it to look like, what's the best thing for me, where am I going to be the happiest, how am I going to make sure that I'm in the most aligned, all these stories. And it's all judgment. If you start relaxing into, okay, wait, what if there isn't actually, first of all, pay attention, Julie, to what each choice, the story that goes along with each choice. Like, okay, I could move out of this place into this place, and that would mean ... You think that's what it means because you're trying to predict a future. You have no idea. So just be aware of that. All right, I'm going to leave this relationship. If I leave this relationship, then these are the things that may or may not happen. Again, you're trying to predict a future you have no idea of, right? I'm going to leave my job and start focusing on this. If I do that, then ... may happen, right? So there's all these stories and ways that we think it may or may not go. We're trying to find out what's the best one, right? What's the outcome going to be like if I made this decision or if I would. A lot. It's a lot. So first, paying attention to that intensity, tightness, perhaps. So many different options. How do I know which one? Doesn't matter. Doesn't. You're going to end up making the decision that you end up making. And then you'll make another decision. It's the judgments. That are stopping us from just being in a more relaxed flow state. And because we don't necessarily believe that each decision is the right decision, it's the only decision because it's the decision we made, and we don't necessarily like the way perhaps it feels. But everything is inviting us into the practice of allowing, being in. So if you make a decision and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this doesn't feel right. Instead of saying I made the wrong decision, you just become more and more aware of what it is that you're feeling, what it feels like. And you recognize, oh, this is the practice right here, allowing this uncomfortableness while I end up trying to figure out the next decision that I'm going to make. And when the more and more that you do that consciously, the more you are in a flow state. Does it make sense? It's yeah, there's going to be a lot of decisions we make that we're going to say that, well, that was a stupid decision. Why did I make that decision? And then all of a sudden, you're beating yourself up and it's, oh my God, I should have done this. I should have done that. It's like, what are you doing? You're here now. You are, and that's the suffering, is that we are resisting what simply is. We're denying and arguing against reality. And so the deeper awareness is that it all just is what it is. You see, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to make the wrong decision. We don't want to, be in pain or be whatever it is. You're not in charge of that. Stop trying to be in charge of anything. Trust so deeply in whatever is arising, whatever choice you end up making, trust it. If you leave a job and you are miserable, trust that. You're learning how to allow miserableness, knowing that it doesn't control you. And this is how you break free. This is how you break free. It's not about making sure that you're safe in the external world and that you're making sure that, that you're preparing for this and this is you're making sure that you're aware of these things happen. It's not about that. Breaking free is breaking free from your mind, where you are no longer creating the anxiety and the stress and the worry that we unfortunately or fortunately, consciously or unconsciously, are creating in every moment that we live in, because we are programmed and conditioned to believe mind. And mind wants to make sure, the human that's believing the mind wants to make sure that everything is going to be the way we need it to be in order to feel safe in the world. You cannot control any of it. You have to let go and be in whatever is. That is fucking freedom. I swear to you, I promise you. It's so uncomfortable. It's so difficult. It's the most difficult and challenging thing you will ever be asked to do. And it is counterintuitive to every single thing that we are taught, which is control, change, fix, create. Episode 62 didn't go out, Kim. We were supposed to do it on Tuesday, but I canceled it. Episode 62 is coming out this Tuesday. I was exhausted from jet lag. I was supposed to do it on Wednesday, and I couldn't do it. So 62 will be this Tuesday, 9 a.m. Terrified to make the wrong one. Yeah, so think about that. I'm terrified to make the wrong decision. What if there wasn't a wrong decision? And the only person that can get you to that space is you. And then so you basically have to drop into, what is the wrong decision? Why is it the wrong decision? What would it mean if you made the wrong decision? And really investigating. And then I would encourage you to come back to whatever path, there's 6 different paths, and whatever path it is the path. And that's the deeper growth. That's the deeper transformation. That's the deeper state of freedom. It's the deeper state of freedom. When you move to a different country, Julie, let it all unravel for you. Be in whatever it is that arises. Be in it. Allow it. Trust it. Become free within it. I had a lot of fun in Ireland. I had really bad jet lag. Really bad jet lag. The jet lag was, oof. I was only there for like 4 days. So I literally flew in. I left Friday night, arrived Saturday morning in Dublin. The event was Sunday, spent all day Monday hanging out, and then flew back Tuesday. So it was, oh gosh, it was a doozy. But I always have a good time in Ireland, in Dublin. I love walking the streets of Dublin. Whatever you choose is the right one. Correct. And unless you want to believe that there isn't a right one, right? I would encourage you, Julie, and anybody else, to start to drop deeper into what if there was no right choice, and watch yourself drop deeper into a state of freedom. And also just be compassionate with the one that's constantly trying to make the right decision and can't figure out what the right decision is, and that is part of us navigating the human, and so that's okay. That's it's okay to be in that. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to not know. It's okay to think that there's got to be a right decision. All of that's okay. It's part of it. Okay. Compassion for our human. Can you talk in depth about divine timing? I am feeling impatient lately and curious about what divine timing really means. Where does it come from? Who is deciding? Is it something that can change as vibration changes? Yes, it changes as a vibration changes, which is your body for sure. The best way to describe divine timing, I would say the vision I'm getting is like the flow state. Okay, so let me try to see if I can explain this. Um, Imagine you're in the river floating, okay? And if you simply just allowed yourself to flow in life, Lynn, and what that means is that you are allowing, kind of what we just said with Julie, you're allowing whatever is arising to arise. You're navigating it. So you're making decisions, you're choosing certain ways of being or doing. Maybe you have intentions of a partner coming in or making more money or whatever that is. But as you are going through each day, divine timing is about trust and flow. It's about being in what is. It's movement. It's constant movement. Okay. Now, when we get in the way, we being the part of us that gets this tunnel vision, this narrow focus of this is what I want, this is how it needs to happen, this is when it needs to happen. That's the egoic structure sort of taking control and creating a narrow focus. When we create a narrow focus in the river, we are now focused solely on, let's say, a boulder or a rock or a twigs, and we're so focused, okay, on that we stop the divine flow, the divine timing of things, when things are going to unravel, at the divine timing being the time where it is of most ease, the almost effortless. It pops in. And it doesn't mean that, let's just say a partner comes in, okay? And it's divine timing for that partner to come in. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy with that partner. It just means that if you stay in flow with what is, it's going to continue to unravel for you. There'll be less suffering. You will be evolving. I mean, you're always evolving, but you'll be evolving in the kind of highest aligned state. So you won't be resisting, restricting, tightening, stopping. So again, if we're in the river and we are focused, really narrow focused on, I want it to be like this, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to be at this time frame. And there's a narrowing. You know what I mean, because you can feel it. There's a narrow focus on things. Then you're stopping the flow. You're hanging on to that rock or that tree or those limbs or whatever that is. Okay. You're not in trust or faith or whatever word you want to use. Very easy to not be in that. Right. You're trying to control. And so divine timing is when you let go and there's a wide focus now. Your body relaxes. People are going to come and go. Things are going to come and go. I'm holding intentions of what the human Lynn would like, the human Lori would like. I'd like to move into different work. I'd like to make more money. I'd like to have a different relationship. Okay, great. That's beautiful. That is what is. And if it is a desire, it will unfold and manifest in divine timing, which means in the state of flow. When you least expect it, from somebody that you don't expect it from, right? That's why we say it's like it happens when we least expected it, because you were in flow. You had the wide focus. Does this make sense? So yeah, when the body's vibration changes, you are naturally going to move into more of a flow state. And so you'll naturally start to find yourself in more of a divine timing state. And divine timing to me is when you trust so deeply in what is. You're not trying to control it, but you're focused, perhaps, even though you have a wide focus, you're still sort of creating in life, but there is a deep, deep faith and trust in what is. Can't miss it. You can't miss it. You can't. I'm feeling challenged in being in flow with money. I am self-employed, but how I was working no longer resonates with me, yet I haven't fully been able to create the next way. This is impacting me with the reality of financially. I want to be true to myself, but it's hard. I feel you, Rosanna. I'm 100% there. This is about really focusing on thought and not divine timing. This is about thoughts. Pay attention to the thoughts. There is a I've gone through this, and I've been going through this. It's a I don't want to call it like a ego death, but it is a version of us that is dying away, and that version is connected to certain behaviors, certain patterns, certain thoughts, certain ways of being, limiting thoughts. And so it's less about the work that resonates with you, and it's more about the thoughts and beliefs that are dying, or I don't want to say dying because they don't go anywhere, but it's the thoughts and beliefs that are actually that have been keeping you in whatever you've been in, that are coming up to the surface, and they're going to get louder and louder and louder, so that they can be allowed, so that you can recognize that's not your highest expression. That's not you. It's not who you are. It's these powerful thoughts that have been perhaps unconsciously guiding you through the life of the river or whatever, and they're coming up to be seen, to be heard. Pay attention to the thoughts, not the actual lack. Okay, so pay attention to the fears. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Pay attention to these things. Let them get louder. The only way that we burn them to the ground is that we let them get so loud that they no longer are who we are. And by the way, financial stress, financial strain, lack is going to be a huge consciousness or energy that we're going to continue to see arise on the planet. And it is mind, it's thought. It's thoughts. And so really starting to pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're believing. What are you thinking? What are you believing? It is not about changing your vibration, okay? This is if you think that if you somehow change your vibration by like raising your vibration into abundance, you're literally missing the point. It is about thought. It all comes back to thought. Everything. You can raise your vibration and create and try to manifest as much as you want in terms of abundance or whatever it is, but I can promise you that if you haven't mastered thought and what you're believing to be true, you'll just find yourself in these cycles. You really want to become best friends with all the thoughts, which means that you're listening to them, you're letting them sit down at the table, you're getting more curious with them. They're like, yeah, I was on a call with Byron Katie, and I asked her a question. And the question was around, you guys all know that what I battle with the most is my deep insecurity about being a teacher, my deep unworthiness about being able to show up, and it really stops me. And it's gotten worse. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Worse meaning it's getting louder and louder and louder. It's getting more intense. It's literally stopping me from showing up at this point a lot of times. It's intense. And I'm aware that it is trying to get these thoughts and beliefs are getting louder and louder and louder, so that they can no longer be what I am paying attention to. And so I went on Byron Katie's Zoom call the other week, and I asked her, I said, I don't know how to get rid of this. It's just getting so loud. It's so loud. I'm suffering with these thoughts. And she said, basically it's an ego death. And then she said, these are like little children, that are going, just little children that need to be seen, little children that just want to be loved, little children that just want attention. And to see the thoughts as these little children that just are like, see me, see me, see me, see me, see me, see me. And you see those thoughts as that. You see the thoughts as these little children that are trying to get your attention. They're not you. And so when we find ourselves, in the same patterns, and especially with lack, lack can create a lot of fear. It can pull you into a tornado. And let that pulling, let that fear be the transformation. And how do you do that? You courageously allow yourself to feel the pull of the tornado so deeply that you eventually recognize that it's a tornado, that it's thought form pulling you, and it's not you. Yeah, it's like the kids in the back of the bus getting louder and louder. It's yeah, I can say that something shifted a couple of days ago. You guys know how I am. I allow everything, and I let myself feel those states of suffering, or I let myself feel just like how intense those words are, and I get curious and more curious and more curious. And eventually I know and trust that whatever that loud thought or voice or children are, that eventually, as long as I give it attention, as long as I let it be, as long as I shine the light on it and invite it in, it will no longer be controlling me. It will no longer be who I am or who I think I am. And so let these limiting thoughts come in. They're not you. Let the fear of not making money come in, Roseanne. It's not you. Get curious about what patterns are arising. Get curious what aspects of you are coming to play right now based on how you're going to show up and who you are. Get embodied with it. What does it feel like? What does that version of you feel like? How uncomfortable are you? How crunchy is it right now? Be in that. That's the transformation. That's the death. And a lot of times we teeter on that. We just touch the surface of that uncomfortable dying death. I'm going to freaking lose my shit and not be able to survive. We just dip our little toes in it, and then we exit out because it's too intense. Thank you, Freds. I appreciate that. Great questions. Thank you. Okay. Nan. Hi, Lori. My adult daughter and her 6-year-old son were recently diagnosed with ADHD. I'm trying to be supportive. How do you feel about ADHD and the medication used to treat it? I look at everything. I mean, I'm not surprised that we all aren't diagnosed with ADHD. Look at our social media, look at how, we are so easily distracted. Look at how difficult it is for us to sit still. Look at how difficult it is for us to watch a 30-minute, talk now, or an hour-long talk. It's like I had to watch this in increments, people will tell me, right? Or it's a long one, but listen to her. It's really important. And it's like 45 minutes, right? So, humanity as a collective is being so inundated and bombarded with with information and being distracted by just being in body and still, that we could all be diagnosed as ADHD, which just means the inability to fucking sit still, right? So I'm not surprised. I don't blame the doctors. They don't know. They don't understand that it is a collective frequency of mind control and manipulation that's being done on an entire planet. They don't understand that the more distracted humanity is, the less empowered they are and the less embodied they are. They don't understand that we're going through a massive evolutionary shift in consciousness. So there is so much light that is moving into the body that it becomes difficult to be embodied. Okay, so not only are there so much distraction on the planet right now that we don't even know how to freaking sit still. If we sit still, we numb ourselves. Okay, but there is so much light coming onto the planet into the bodies that it's difficult to be embodied. So I don't blame the medical system. They're just doing the best they can. I think that medication probably will benefit in some way, but it doesn't get to the core problem, right? The core problem is being able to sit still, is being able to be uncomfortable, is being able to be in body. It's being able to feel everything. It's okay to be distracted 24/7. Be in that. Allow distraction, meaning allow yourself to have the inability to sit still. Allow yourself to have the inability to focus. Be aware of that. So medication is going to, assist with the symptom. It's not going to help the problem. And the problem is being able to be in body. And the problem with being in body is that you feel everything, you hear everything, you sense everything, and it's extremely uncomfortable. You go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing because it's the more that you move into the body, the louder things become, the more your senses are activated. And you just are like, you can argue, and I'm sure there's tons of scientific studies and doctors that say, oh no, there's something happening in the brain. Of course there is, because there's something happening energetically in the body. Just because the scientists or the doctors can say that it's whatever's happening in the brain is what is predicting or creating the ADHD doesn't mean that's the solution. Everything's energy. Calm the energy down in the body by being in the body, by allowing what is, and there won't be as much of this resistance against what is. So back to your question, Nan, I would just let it be the way it's unraveling. Let the diagnosis be, let the medication be. You can have awarenesses that you have, and you can gently and lovingly share them if they're being asked to be shared, or you can slowly try to say, well, it's really difficult for all of us to be in our bodies right now, or, it's really difficult for me to be in my body and there's a lot of distraction, but you don't want to take away from what they're experiencing if that's really what they believe, right? So it's we're not right. They're not right. They're right because they believe they're right. You're right because you believe you're right. But who's right? Both. And the deeper state of awareness and the deeper state of being is having your own awarenesses, but understanding and honoring somebody else's. It's difficult when it comes to medications and pills and things that people are putting in their bodies to alleviate a symptom and not go straight to the problem. It's very difficult to watch that. I'm not saying it doesn't affect brain function. 100% it does. That's why they're doing what they're doing with us. That's why distraction is what I have been focusing on the last couple of weeks, is because distraction is impacting the brain. 100%. And so humans are not only finding themselves feeling like they're going crazy, but they feel out of control. They don't feel like they can function in the same way. It feels very chaotic, you know? It's energy. It all boils down to energy. And I think what you're saying, Kim, is very, very true, like, not dismissing this is with any, symptom or any, label that is being given to somebody, to not dismiss it, that it's an experience. ADHD is an experience that more and more humans are gonna have, you know? Um, and to dismiss what somebody's experiencing is heartbreaking, you know? To say, "Oh, you don't have that." It's like, well, first of all, you're not God, and second of all, the deeper state of awareness, the God consciousness, the heart space to be in is to just to have compassion, you know? You don't know what it's like to be in their shoes. Maybe you would say they don't have it, maybe you would say they do have it, but we really wanna be compassionate with how we are being with humans, you know? And also, being aware of what else is occurring on the planet. ADHD is going to be on the increase. Anxiety issues are on the rise, right? Anxiety, um, heart problems, um, ADHD, going crazy. People are going to fucking, excuse my language, lose their minds. People are going to feel like they're losing their minds. And it's not because there is this chemical imbalance or there's something happening in the brain. There are things happening in the brain, but it is external. It's being done onto the human on many levels. And that's why going into the body, finding some sort of meditative practice, having compassion, kindness, opening our hearts, trusting, that's why the align class is so important because you don't want to try to figure out how to fix ADHD or fix the anxiety or fix the heart palpitations. We have to learn how to be in this world in body, in body. Megan. Hi, Lori. I'm struggling a bit with bodily autonomy. I'm a new mother who's nursing, and my body has gone through many changes. I'm starting to feel overwhelmed with the changes in appearance, as well as having my baby solely dependent on me for food, and I feel bad for feeling bad. Any thoughts about how I can feel physically free with these changes? I don't know what that's like. I wish that I could relate a little bit more with you, Megan. Um, you know, if I can relate it to things that I have gone through and are going through that I don't like and that I wish could be different, the deeper practice for me is first recognizing um, what I'm in, what I'm resisting, how I want things to go, how I wish things were, right? So just dropping in, getting a little bit more present with myself and just realizing, wow, this doesn't feel good. Wow, I really would prefer it to be like this, but it's not. Wow, I'm not letting this be okay, which is okay. Um, just dropping in and getting really aware of what my preferences are. I want to feel physically free with these changes. Well, you don't feel physically free, right? And so dropping deeper into, I really am extremely uncomfortable in what's happening right now, right? I really wish that this could be different. I wish, and when we drop deeper into just simply what is, dropping deeper in is just acknowledging, honoring, allowing, being okay with, then there's a releasing into what is. You won't need to figure out how to be more free in the physical changes, you'll start to allow the physical changes. It is what it is, right? It's happening. And so what happens is that we know that it is what it is. We know that it's happening. We know we don't have any control over what's happening with our bodies, and that our child needs to be fed. We know that we can't change that. And so then we're trying to force ourselves into allowing it to be okay, and to somehow, um, be free and physically free and all this. And that's not happening. And that just creates more resistance and restriction and anger and resentment and whatever else. So the deeper dropping is the deep, deep allowing of what is, which is, okay, what am I in? So you're taking away the lens of duality, the right and wrong, the good and bad. Even if you're in right, wrong, good, and bad. I shouldn't be feeling this. I should be feeling this. I want it this way. I don't want it this way. That's allowed. And then you drop deeper down. And you start to allow or be in, watch yourself experience what it is you're experiencing. And giving yourself the permission to hate it, or to not like it, or to not want it. So there is a deeper dropping into, I feel bad for feeling bad. I wish that I wasn't in this. I don't like that my body's physically changing. I wish that I had control over this. Instead of staying on the surface level and sort of really attaching to what you're experiencing. Okay, really attaching to feeling bad for feeling bad, really attaching to I need to be free from the physical changes, blah, blah, blah. Then you drop a little bit deeper and you're kind of looking up at the Megan that's stuck in all this. And you're watching Megan. And you're reminding Megan it's okay. Makes sense. Of course you're feeling these things. This is what it is. This is the river that you're moving down. This is what is arising. This is what's happening. You don't need to do anything. You just drop deeper into the being in it, the compassion for yourself. You are watching Megan. It's a lens shift that's extremely difficult to try to explain in words. And the only way I can describe it is just keep practicing the allowing whatever it is that is arising and appearing. Recognizing the resistance, the restriction, the tightness, the not wanting it. Recognizing how you're wanting it to be different. Just recognizing all of that. Being aware of it. Make sense? I surrendered. It just gave them what they needed. Now they're 9 and 13. I have my body all to myself. You'll get through it, Lori says, and get through it and not remember the hard times. You're growing a child, so you have to be so unselfish. It will pay dividends when the child is older. Hi, Deanna. Nice to see you here. Just made it. Hi, Mia. It's difficult, but so worth all the pain. You'll forget it once you're older. It's tough, Megan. Gita says, so many things are going on in your body. You are perfect the way you are. Divine timing. 1000% support for a new mama. For me, I lavished in the bonding and effect I could have on my child as far as eating well. They will change when they make their own choices, and you will feel out of control. Many dislike nursing and the body changes, but going from maiden to mother phase is a huge change. Selflessness, sacrifice, and yes, agree with Lori. Anything you do in the first 5 years to allow them to feel safe will set them up for life. There you go, Megan. Bravo. I think more moms feel the way you are. I cried all the way through it and nursed both of mine for 3 years each. This will pass. This will pass. This will pass. This will pass. Wow. I cried all the way through it and I nursed both of mine. Wowzers, wowzers. Be gentle with yourself, my friend. Be very, very, very gentle. Gentle. You are raising a child. It's nuts. Insane. Okay, you guys, let's pick a card. Oh, good. My hair appointment is running. Hold on a second. My hair lady, Jen, she sometimes runs late. Okay. Uh Way to be a mom, Megan. Way to be a mom. Okay, let's pick a card. Pick a card, any card. Let's see if there's one last question I want to answer. Looking for a quick one. Bye, Pua. Love you, my friend. Kudos to all moms and dads. Kudos is right. Okay, what guidance is for our highest good? What guidance is for our highest good? This is my deck that I've been using this year. Kyle Gray, Gateway of Light Activation. Okay. What card and guidance is for our highest good? What do we need to know? I already know. Okay. Starbeam healing codes. Important information. Wounds are healed, recharging. Look at the light around the earth. I love it. Look at all that light. Look at that light being holding the earth. Starbeam healing codes. Important information. Wounds are healed, recharging. Man, I freaking feel that recharging. Okay. Let's find. Okay. There are many names for star beings, such as ETs, star people, star ancestors, sky people, and more. Whatever they are called, they are divinely inspired, evolved beings existing in dimensions that we can't even comprehend. Okay, so we're being assisted by star beings, is what they're saying. What this card is saying. So we're being assisted by higher dimensional light beings right now in a very, very profound way. Got it. They are the overseers of the cosmos, and like angels, are divine expressions of the heart of Source who are dedicated to the well-being of the entire universe. They aren't limited by time or space, for they are from a higher dimension. Their frequency healings are received on a spiritual level and can then move through our energy centers to affect the physical. These cosmic beings are our interplanetary cousins and are now coming to many souls on Earth in support of healing, expansion, harmony. Star beings exist in multiple forms and come from many different universes, but this card is a gateway that transports us to one of their healing sanctuaries. It's a gateway that's open to many different star beings, and so it doesn't stipulate which cosmic race is coming to us, but we will be receiving healing codes directly from cosmic guides. The healing can be emotional, physical, or spiritual. However it comes, know that it's a great blessing. Say thank you, star beings, for healing. Thank you, star beings of healing, for placing your hands of light upon my being and guiding me back to my whole and healed self. I'll say that again. Thank you, star beings of healing, for placing your hands of light upon my being and guiding me back to my whole and healed self. Here's the message. If the world seems overwhelming or intense at this time, know that it's okay for you to retreat to a safe space to cleanse and recharge your energy. It's the equinox. You may feel called to be a healer for others and share healing with the world, but please ensure you are balanced and filled up with light first. This is not the time for you to sacrifice your own well being in order to serve others. Light beings are placing their hands upon you now, filling you with divine light that will wash away any blockages or stagnant energies standing in the way of your freedom and wholeness. Star beings are channeling healing codes and frequencies into your being, and it's important for you to stay alert for any intuitive guidance about your body so you can be restored to health once more. Beautiful. Perfect card for the equinox. Perfect card. Invite the star beings in, let them heal, let them activate, let them do what they do best. Yay. I love you guys. Happy equinox. Equal amounts of light and dark. Beautiful, beautiful metaphor for the yin and the yang of this world. Be in it, but not of it. Thank you, everyone that asked their questions. Sending you all so much love for what you're going through, what you're navigating. I'll see you on Friday the 29th at 4 p.m. Yeah, it's autumn. Yep. 4 p.m. for our energy update, and Align 4.0 is going to be open for registration on Monday. You all know that if you need coupon codes, I have them, scholarships, I have them. And of course, if you can pay the $59, you can just join. So I will see you all Tuesday for Untangled episode 62. I'll see you Friday the 29th for the energy update, and look for Align 4.0. It's going to come out soon. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of the community. I loved you so much. Thank you for being on the planet incarnated at this time, and for doing the hard work of awakening back into the embodied light of God that you are every day, over and over and over again, as a mom, as a teacher, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, sister, whatever you are, brother, all of it. You're a gift. You're an absolute gift. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.